Great. Well, welcome everybody. Happy Monday, One Mondo weekly team call. Let me get some admin out of the way. Tomorrow night, we have Marco Passanante, Black Ambassador. Many of you that, of course, know Marco, the man with the passion. He comes with the fire in his belly and his vision for the team. He'll be sharing on tomorrow's academy, our Elite School Academy tomorrow night, and also tomorrow night, our first One Mondo business presentation. So I know there's a number of teams within the One Mondo family, but tomorrow night we kick off with the One Mondo business presentation. That will be then running every second Tuesday. So make sure you got that in your diary, let your teams know, another avenue for us to get more exposures for the community throughout the whole organization. So tonight, I've been asked to host the call. I'm excited to be with you. This really is going to be a pen and paper exercise for us to take some notes. I will be sharing a lot of numbers tonight. This could be a long one tonight, so make yourselves comfortable. But the key element is if you don't build a business based around numbers, if you don't know what you're looking to achieve and attain, then we will aimlessly shoot for things. And we'll find ourselves fundamentally being busy. I don't know about you. This is my now actually May 2019. All wish me a happy 5th anniversary. This is my fifth year in the business. And oh, you actually followed instruction. I love that. Thank you very much. So all go out and get your 4 and 2. If you follow that instruction, we're going to have a major explosion. Okay, so but tonight we're really going to drill down into the fundamentals and the basics. And I know that many of you are going to say, I know this. But knowing and not doing is not knowing. Because without actually executing what we know, then we don't know. Or if we do know what we should be executing and we're not, then we have to drill down even further and find out why that's the case. Because network marketing, I saw Marco promote this book last week. In fact, funnily enough, it's on my desk, Go Pro. You know, Eric Worre talks about network marketing. A lot of people doing a little. But what I find a lot of times in teams, there's a few doing a lot and not a lot doing a little. And that's the focus. Is sometimes I think we can become very overwhelmed by what we believe that we have to do to get what we want, our goals, our dreams, and our aspirations. And we really don't focus on the basics. Put a 1 in the comments if you've ever heard me say, learn, do, teach. Okay, learn the basics, do the basics, and teach the basics. And sometimes once we've learned the fundamentals and we think we've grasped them, but we may not be where we want to be in our businesses, that we start to try to become more sophisticated. We think we need to be more educated. We think we need to have greater understanding. But if that were true, if you've ever been to an event, if you've ever been to a live convention where we generally pull people together, I'm hoping I'm not the only one who's ever felt this way, where I have sat in an audience. Put a 2 in the comments if you've ever had this emotion overwhelmingly flood you when you're sitting there and someone walks across the stage achieving a higher rank than you, and you politely clap with a smile going to your significant other. How the heck did they do that? Right? You're doing the polite applause, but you're thinking, I'm way better than that. It's not how good we are. It's how much people duplicate the basics you do. And so tonight, hopefully I'm setting that preface of that's what we're going to talk about tonight, the basics, but how powerful the basics are when we all do the basics. Not the few, but the many. And if there's a fundamental basic cookie cutter, I call it, that's an American term, but a pattern for success, then guess what? Anyone can learn, and Marco said this for many years, anyone can learn the skills to do and build a significant success in this industry. So are you with me? Do you understand? We're going to deal with the basics tonight. So, of course, many of you may have been around a year or two, like me, and congratulations, you're still here. Some of you may be new blood to the community. Welcome to you. But regardless of how long we've been in, from today forward, I'd really like you to really embrace and start dating the fundamentals, the system, and the structure of duplicating. Because we all can be superstars. We can all be extraordinary, talented individuals. But if we're not duplicatable, if we're not teaching the process, our results will show for a small time, but they would disperse over time, because that will be a peak and drop success. It's the real duplication of the key elements. So learn the basics, do the basics, and teach the basics. So I want to walk you through now. Since January of this year, we've obviously had some new enhancements to the compensation plan. So let's just revisit that very quickly for those who've been around the world. We used to have a 90-day fast start period. So now we have 120 days. So you know we have a 30-day, a 60-day, a 90-day, and 120 days. And there's certain things that we need to be focused on to keep the message really simple. And that is through our fast start overview in our back office is to turn those red donuts green. And that's all you need to focus people's attention on, and then show them how to achieve it, and not tell them, not coach them, but show them. Teach them by showing them. Your action, your locking arms, because they've partnered with you, right? So partnering with you means they have belief in you. Partnering with you means you've probably given them hope that they can be successful. You've shown them an opportunity that's got them excited, and you've now created that desire to advance their life for better things in their environment. So take the responsibility, not just to get people registered, but to get people started, and get them started the right way, the right onboarding, the right commitment to time investment. Lay out a plan with them, and we should all know the plan that we lay out is the fast starts. We don't need to lay out anything else. If they want to ask about the product, say, hey, that's great, but in the first 4 months, don't worry about the product. Well, I want to know, how does the mentoring bonus work? Don't worry about it. You've got no one to mentor right now. Right? So the reality is, so many people want to know way more than they need to know to get started, that creates procrastination in getting out of the gates. So we need to get people focused. And to do that, I'm going to share my screen. And prepared, I may call upon you to let me know that screen. Let me see. My wife has given me thumbs up. Fantastic. So we know that I'm actually going to just minimize everything because I've got so many things open. You beautiful faces are great, but I'm just going to get rid of you all. So here we know that the fast starts is 120 days. But why don't we create a culture? If you give people a timeline, most will wait until that timeline is almost about to expire, and then they go frantically. But if we teach people as a culture, they can take 120 days, but why don't we teach people how they can achieve that in 60 days? Because if we really think about it, if we're actually partnering with people that want to build a business. Now, remember, you don't want to convince people into our organization. You don't want to coerce people. Hey, John, you don't need to do much. Just get in. I'll do it all for you. Well, you may be thinking you're happy with John coming in and you being willing to do it all for him, but you'll find out then that is not duplicatable. You want willing participants. They may lack belief. They may lack posture. They may have too much ego. They can bring different circumstances to the table. But throughout those circumstances, you do want them to be willing, a willing participant to engage with the process and the program. And so once you really get that program down and you learn how to communicate that with a simple message, then you can start to get them focused on the right activities to help them get going fast. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. Because if we're going to build, and I can't see anyone now because I've minimized it, but I will go back to the recording, put a 3 in the chat if in the next 12 months you would love to rank advanced to such a degree that you would have the choice to whether this becomes your main thing. Now, right now, for many of us, I would say 99.9% of the team that is on this call tonight and those that will be watching the recording, for 99.9% of you, I know this is not the main thing. But put a 3 in the chat if you would love this to become the main thing. Because if you want it to become the main thing, what we do daily will, over time, make it so. But the reality is that you have to see it as your main thing, because that will influence our daily activity. It will influence our daily investment with our thinking, with our exposure, with our development of our skills. Because it's so easy to look at the likes of our leaders in the One Mondo family, the Pierces and the Fabians and the Javiers and the Zinabs and the directors and the Gudruns and the Booths and the Smallburgers and I mean, now I'm in trouble, right? I've started naming names and I shouldn't have. The Jens and the Ricardos, and I'm going to stop in a minute, I promise. But all of you, it's easy to look at these and go, well, it's okay for them. But the reality is they started like you and I. They invested in a kit and they have their own journey. We've all had our own journey of growth, sometimes some setbacks. The only difference that makes people pursue their goal is their passion of their dream. So knowing what you want out of life for this business is the #1 priority. And then put in a plan of action. Well, the plan's been put together for us. We don't have to be creative. It's already in place. The company put a fast start program. So in the first 30 to 60 days, first 30 days is you go get your 4 subs. Now, we just want to make sure that people understand that the 4 subs have a 2-part to it. Yes, you've got to go get 4 subscriptions, but if your subscriptions do not create 20 credits, so often recently I've had people share with me, hey Dave, I've gone Q team and I've gone to have a look and they've got only half of the criteria met. They've got their 4 subscriptions, but maybe they've only generated 16 credits or 17 credits. So they've got a green outer circle and they've got a pretty much full green circle inner circle, but there's a little bit of red there and they don't seem to understand why that's the case. But if you've watched the fast starts, if you've taught the fast starts, it's the criteria. Go get 4 customer subscriptions. And they must be customer subscriptions, not retail products. You'll earn commission on the retail. You'll earn credits on a retail, but a retail sale is not a premier subscription, and fast starts require a premier subscription to qualify. And those 4 subscriptions must generate 20 credits. So month 1, go get your 4 that generate 20 credits. Month 2, go get your 2. But why don't we condense that? Why don't we do that at the same time? And how can we do that? Well, that's something you want to strategize with your enroller and the team that are working with you. Yes, we can do 3 ways. We can do 1-on-1s, 2-on-1s. But as we're now really more able to be out in the market, why don't you have home meetings? Why don't we have get-togethers? Why don't we invite more people? If you want to kick off and get your subscriptions, why don't we have a health evening? Invite as many people as possible rather than 1-on-1. Now, you can build it 1-on-1 if that's your preference. Fantastic. But if you want to go fast, expose it faster. And so we can really compress that time by how quickly we expose it to our names list. And remember, there's only 3 categories I try and teach people. You know, those that are into their health, those who have health issues, and those that you would love to be on your board of directors. Now let's make a list and put them in those three categories. Who do you know is really into their health? Fantastic. Who do you know has the health issues? Great job. Who would you love to be, if they would give you their time to listen, who would you love to be on your board of directors? Ready for this? That bring value to the table and not a project. I was a project 5 years ago, and I was shown some mercy by Marco Passanante. I was 51, I was broke but not broken, and I didn't believe in myself. After 51 years of endeavoring to build traditional business by building 2 network marketing companies before, at 51, I was on my knees, and if it was for me, if this industry was for me, then I would have had it by now. I had that pity party syndrome. I had that poor little old me syndrome. I had the thumb in the mouth syndrome. But Marco got me around, and was a smart move, got me around a 3-way call with the founder. He edified the founder, the founder edified Marco, and the 3-way took place. And I acted like I knew what I was doing, because I didn't want to let them know where I really was. And I needed help. I needed the help to believe in me again. I needed a guidance of just little steps that I could go out and do, that I could build my belief again. And that's why the fast start is more than just filling circles. It's more than just hitting a fast start bonus. Yes, it's a small victory. If you've read your Express Start, there's a whole philosophy that Orion talks about that's in the written word in our black book. But it's also on a video series in ours in Zeno.tv. And one of the philosophies, I think it's 3 or 4, that it has of the philosophy of small wins. Well, you go and get your 4 subs with 20 credits, that's a small win. You go and help your left and right, get your A and B, that's a small win. But guess what? It's really powerful. You believe you can get customers. You believe you can get people to join your venture and share your vision. So don't ever underestimate by filling these circles of what's really being achieved. But in your first 60 days, let's go fill out this chart as soon as possible. We don't have to use the timeline that's in our back office. You can compress it. And if you want to go fast, don't go alone. What I mean is plug into someone in your line of sponsorship, in your team, that's 1, active, and 2, duplicating the system. If they're not active, if they're not duplicating the system, love them, give them time to grow, but keep going upline to find someone that's running the play. So first, you get your 4 subs, then enroll your 2 partners. Now, you may be graced and you may be blessed of being in a team that's driving through you, driving people underneath you and placing people underneath you. But step 2 requires you getting your 2. Not, I've got 2 people in my business from my upline, from spillover. If you've been blessed with that, you need to physically get your own 2. So focus 30 days. Go get your 4 with 20 credits. And go get your 2. Now, you've got 60 days to do that when you look at your back office, but let's do it in 30 days. And then go and help put 2 names in that second row, Mary and John. Now, go help Mary and John get their 2. Help them make a list. Help them find people that are into their health, have health issues, and would love to have people on their board of directors. Replicate that. Because you only need 4 products that generate 20 credits for Mary. You only need 4 products and that generate 20 credits for John. And you've just done it yourself. So you should be riding the wave of belief that you can at least transfer that to Mary and John. That's the power of this business. A lot of people doing a little. And so you put Mary and John, 1 left. I see those 2 ones. That's Mary and John, they're yours. Now help Mary and John go get their 2 and 3. And so maybe that's where you start to, if you're building locally, that you can have home gatherings. You can start the embryonic stage of hotel presentations. But if you're building local, what you want to do is for you want to invite as many people for you personally enrolling and driving depth with this team so you can build width and depth at the same time. But your focus is your new person. Yes, keep looking and filling your pipeline with your own personal reach outs. But once you get someone in, get them running the play so they start filling out the chart ASAP along with you. So you're going to be able to get this document. It will be uploaded. It will be circulated. And so print it off. And even if you've been around a while, start with you again. It doesn't matter what rank you are. You can be a director, a crown, you can be whatever rank you are. But now start with the fast start mindset. The only difference is you're not going to get the fast start bonuses, but you're going to be very excited about the new blood that you bring into your organization. And of course, if you are a rank that I just mentioned and you do this, these have to go somewhere in your organization. So by you having that Sushin mindset, that Japanese mindset, that martial art mindset of no matter what rank we achieve, black belt in karate, Sushin is always have a white belt mentality, a beginning mindset. And that's another key here is never think that we know it all. Start realizing that we need to drive depth and teach the people what we're doing. So once we've done that, we can now know that we can go silver in 30 to 60 days. Now, what we want you to do then, and now start to focus on, is you've done it once, you can do it again. But while you're helping your first person, look over the next 3-4 months to go and sponsor, enroll as fast as possible 6 people that come in the same way as you did on an ultimate, and help them go and get there too. Now, of course, through this diagram, it's a horizontal structure that I'm showing you. But if you look at my hands right now, look at those 6 personally enrolled. They are on a linear, they're on a line. But if you actually pretend that you just literally slide them down, so basically on the left-hand side of the chart, as you can see 1, 2, and 3. On the right-hand side, you can see 1, 2, and 3. Well, 1 would be your first personal that you bring in, and you're helping them go silver. The second person you bring in, you'll be stacking in depth underneath 1, helping them go silver. And number 3, you'll be stacking under 2, so you'll be driving depth. So you know each week then, as you start to fill these circles, even on the previous sheet, that if you put a name in, when you get to work your calendar each week, as you start your week off, and again, Marco's always taught this, Sundays, you really want to be filling your calendar for the coming week. If your number is 4 presentations a week, then guess what? I've got time for 4 presentations this week. And if I've helped Mary and John get started, yes, I want to continue filling my personal pipeline, but where do I need to work this week? I need to help Mary and John. Mary's only got 1 customer subscription. John's got his 4, but he needs 1 more for personally enrolled. So by drawing it out each week, you can then control your calendar of where you're going to put your activity. There's nothing like having focused intention than opposed to or the opposite of starting the week with all this zeal and vigor and desire to do something this week. But come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you've got nothing in the calendar because you really haven't been intentional of where we're working. So if we start filling these circles, what you're going to see here over the next 3, 4, 5 months, if you now fill this out, remember, you're only having to get 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, 1, 2, and 3 on your left and 1, 2, and 3 on your right. And you're going to help them get their 2 and 3 all the way through. And you're going to help 2 and 3 get their 4, 5, and 6 and 7. So as I drew this sheet out, the one thing I wanted you to really comprehend is it's not these aren't going to be filled by your names list. There's by the time you complete this sheet, you filled this sheet with people's names list. If you have 6 people personally enrolled and you go through the right exercise of sitting down, onboarding, making a list, breaking it down into categories, and you help them generate at least a list of 100 people. If you help 6 people, that's 600 contacts, and you haven't even touched your list. So if we build the business right, teach the right activities, then we should never, ever really go through our list. Because one, we're always adding to our list. Well, as we grow, we meet new people, as we develop our communication skills and our ability to actually eyeball someone in Starbucks without holding our head down. I mean, there's more people you don't know that will be in business with you in the next few years than people that you know that decided not to join you at this stage. Why? Because they're waiting to see what you do with it. So if you're waiting for your friends and family to join you to base your success, I'd rather develop my skills and work with other people and go find people that will listen and that will bring my other people on board down the road. So goal number 2 is to start working this sheet and start filling them out. Step 1, fill out the silver sheet. Step 2, this is the first step to your diamond, because when we fill these out, you will be a platinum, you will be an executive, almost platinum. But here, what happens then is now teach number 1, 2, and 3 on your left and 1, 2, and 3 on your right to start filling out their diamond sheet. You start doing that and they achieve, if 1, 2, and 3 on your left does their diamond sheet, because they have a desire to run for diamond. Now you've given them direction. You've given them some guidance of where they need to be working to be effective with their time, with intentional diarizing of their calendar. All of a sudden, 1, 2, and 3 go and do what they are, this sheet. And now you're going to have well over a diamond volume in your left-hand side. And you're going to have over diamond volume on your right-hand side. And you have now gone director. So by you focusing on filling out this sheet and then helping your personals fill out this sheet, you'll be a director, a solid director. Because going director, going diamond, going platinum, you name the rank, it's one way of getting there with volume. It's another one bringing people through with you. And that way you don't just hit a goal, you go through the goal and you keep growing towards the next one. So these are 2 sheets that I want you to really spend some time on, just getting familiar with. Make sure you check out with your sponsor that you're working with, your line of sponsorship. But imagine just being able to focus on circles and putting names in circles, building relationships with these people. You know exactly where you need to go. You know who you're working with. And that builds energy, that builds momentum, and that builds a focus of team building. So step 1, fill out your silver sheet. Step 2, get your diamond sheet up and start focusing on running for diamond. And how are we going to do that? We've touched on this a lot, many times before, but we're going to start filling the pipeline. Prospecting. Now, we've got our names list. Step 2, we got that together, but you're always prospecting. When you're out and about, I call them FTBs, friends to be. They are strangers. Always reconnecting with people, always reaching out and making the first move, having a conversation, not always looking to prospect them now for the business, but developing your skills just to break conversation, just to break ice and be able to get a contact from people. Because the more you're out there, the more you're prospecting, the bigger your pipeline, the bigger your pot, the less overwhelm you feel, the less stress as your name list starts to deplete, because you don't do it together. You go and do it on under your own esteem and may not be approaching, prospecting, positioning the right way, and you blow out some of your best contacts because you didn't utilize the team. So making sure that you fill the pipeline the correct way, prospecting the right way, developing your names list. And if we don't have, I don't know, at least 100 for a brand new person on our names list, that means we've prejudged. Because if we're on social media, if we've got a mobile phone, if we've got an email account, we have over 100 names, not necessarily that will be interested, but that was never the question. That was never the guidance. I always share with my new partners, I would love to work with you to help you make your list over 100 people. We've got the memory jogger, we've got within Express Start. But the reality is, if you make a list of who you think will be interested, you're going to struggle. That was not the ask. The ask was make a list of everybody you know. Start with your social media, start with your phone book, start with your email. I don't even care if it's in alphabetical order. Just start writing names. Then we then go to the second exercise of then we start categorizing. Who do you know out of these people that are really into their health? Tell me about them. Who do you know has health issues? Tell me about them. Who would you that is your level and above that maybe intimidate you, that you feel are already successful, that you don't think will even listen to you? Highlight 10 of those people and let me show you how we would approach them. So that's why building a list with your new partner is vital. Not just telling them to go away and make a list. Now, I've done that. Don't get me wrong. I have not made a list with everybody I've enrolled because a lot of them wouldn't allow me to, or I didn't want to intrude, or I wasn't leading the way I should have led. But the more I've realized how many good people have come and gone because they weren't coached and shown the right way. They were taught, they were onboarded, they were told, and then left to their own devices. There's too many good trainers in this industry. There's too many coaches in this industry. What you want to be is a doer. I was sitting down with someone the other day, and I had a new partner with me, and this individual was very academically qualified, socially several levels above me, academia-wise and social-wise, and just very articulate. And they were talking about they do a lot of coaching, and they coach others. They coach coaches. I said, isn't that interesting? Most coaches today are coaching coaches who want to be coaches to go get big ticket items. But if you were a coach who knew how to go get big ticket items, you wouldn't be coaching coaches to get big ticket items. See, what I've found out in my career is teachers teach, doers do. Why? Because doers have to roll up their sleeves. Doers have to sit down and, forget what their title they've got and get into making a list with people, making calls with people, showing them by teaching them. Sorry, teach them by showing them, and showing them through presentations. Step 4, 2-on-1s, 1-on-1s. So this pipeline has been in our getting started onboarding videos and documentation for well over a year. And so the pipeline is important. If you start filling out that first sheet and utilize the pipeline to educate and show and guide and lead and be an example with your first 2 and help them get there too by using this pipeline operation, you're going to start to see your euros, your pounds, your rand, your dollars grow. And guess what's going to grow in that process? Belief. And then that process is just repeated, right? It's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But the more the pound grows, the rand grows, the dollar grows, the euro grows, you're so more enthusiastic about the pipeline. But so many people don't get good at it or disciplined enough at it to consistently long enough to make it look easy, to become a pro. As Eric says here, if you're going to build, decide to go pro. Decide to go. This is a book that I've read before, but I've heard Marco talk about it more most recently, and I thought I'll dive back into it. And I'd suggest if you haven't done it recently, do it again. And when you read it, you will be shocked. You will go, how fundamentally boring it is. And that is what distinguishes those who do and those who don't. Falling in love with the process, the mundane, repetitive aspects of contacting, inviting, showing the plan, following up, repeat the process. And that's why discipline, that's why consistency, that's why your desire, your dream has to be the key. Because if you don't know why, if you don't have clarity, if you don't want it bad enough, we get bored because we say we're not getting the results we deserve. No, we absolutely do get the results we deserve in this industry. We may feel we deserve more, but if we did, we would have them. And the reality is maybe it's our skill set that needs developing a little bit more. Maybe we get to a point where we are a rank and we're not really doing the basics. And if we are doing the basics and not progressing, and I'm talking about myself as an example, and I'm not progressing to the next rank, then maybe I have to become sharper at the basics. Maybe I have to really look at what I'm doing with the basics, because I know the basics. So there's a real look in the mirror time when you want to move on. So filling the pipeline is the key. Now, many of us start the career with this profession, with businesses and careers and field of endeavors and family and church and community involvement. So most will start this part-time. So find your number. If you're part-time, 3 to 4 exposures minimum a week. Marco shares his story. We've heard it over and over again. His number was 7. But find your number and stick to it. If you're full-time, like a few of you are, then, you know, it's 15 exposures a week. And I've got to be honest, when you really are in the throes of momentum, it's hard maybe sometimes not to do 15 a day. Yes, it will tire you out, but I'd rather go to bed despondent. I'd rather not go to bed despondent, tired, but go to bed tired and exhilarated and enthused because I'm in front of people. I see new people coming into the team. Yeah, I may have lots of going on and I may be tired, but I'm enthused by it. I can't wait to get up the next day. So you're going to go to bed tired. Just make sure you're tired because you're excited about what's going on. So the next thing we want to do is make sure that every new partner, by the time month 4 expires, now, of course, we know that in the month 1, when they go get their 4 and their 20 credits, that in that first 4-month period, they are graced by only having to do half the criteria of their Z for Free auto order. So that's why making sure that they've got their 10 by the end of those 120 days, because when that grace period ends, if they don't have at least 4 customer points, 4 customer subscriptions, generating 40 customer credits, then their auto order will be charged. And that's why X Team, that's step 4, go get 10 products. If you all had 10 products and they're all bottles of oil, a bottle of oil is 4 credits, there's your 40 credits. You maintain that auto order for free and only pay for the shipping. So this fast start structure sets your partner up with the right cornerstones to continue their growth, to minimize their exposure, and to get the return on their investment very, very quickly. So because we want everybody to get their product and their monthly running costs for free. And that's why X Team having 10 customer subs by month 4 is important to make sure that continues. And so quickly, I just want to go and break down a couple of things for you. And then we're going to go into something quite exciting, I believe. So if you really understand that, taking that first sheet and replicating that, how we can grow as a community, as a team, and compound this over the next 24 months to a number that has been unprecedented in Zinzino. Now, a lot of people will say, well, these are just numbers. If you think they're just numbers, it's because you don't see the big picture. You don't see how this compound effect will affect us. But I want to handle one thing to make sure that every new partner understands and that we teach this to our new partners. In the first 4 months, as we know, that the company is going to grace us with half of the criteria that we need to qualify to get our auto order for free. That's a blessing. They're also going to give us ECB. And so make sure you educate the newest partner. So whether they're gathering customers, whether they're gathering partners, that, for example, oil subscription, normally it's 14 credits. So you sign a customer up on a oil subscription. If you don't normally have ECB, that's 14 credits. You can see that in the product listing, in your product pricing list in your back office. But in your first 4 months, you're going to be given ECB. So now you're going to be given 28 credits for something that's usually 14 credits. You haven't earned it. They're going to grace you it. But by the time month 4 comes along, if you don't have your 10 customer subscriptions, you're not going to have ECB. So now you've benefited from it. Now you understand the value of it. Now maybe you'll fight to keep it. And you can see this. I'm not going to go through all the examples there, but let's look at the ultimate. The ultimate usually is 150 credits. But in your grace period, you're going to be given now 300 credits, except for those months where we have, like we are in May, 200% ECB. So every partner that you bring in on an ultimate, you're going to get 300 credits during your grace period. And if you earn your X team status beyond that, then you're going to get 300 credits moving forward. But in your first 4 months, since they amended the fast start bonuses, this is something that's been gifted to us. So it is a gift, it is a blessing, but the new partner doesn't know that. We got to share with them the value of what they've been given, so they can see the value, but how they will benefit from it. So here's you. You're starting your business, and you get a new personal partner. That new partner comes in an ultimate, and it doesn't matter as you start to develop down your organization. It could be any level, but right now we're just focused on your left and your right, your first two. But down the road, when you bring more people in with the momentum of your structure, remember we're building 2 teams. So your next partner could be 5 levels deep. You personally enroll them, but they're placed in depth. And down the road, when new partners are coming in that you're working with and helping them enroll new partners, there is no breakage. So you can benefit all the way back. So let's take this new partner. They come in and they go and get their first customer. Their first customer subscription, a premier subscription, and it's a health protocol. Well, based on this small chart on the left-hand side, generally it would have been 22 credits, but in the grace period, you get 44 credits. But that 44 credits goes up to that new partner because it's part of their fast start, but those 44 credits come all the way back to you as well. And why do I want to express this with you? It's because when you get someone started, you get paid the same. You get the same credits. So focus on them and help them get their step 1 done. Help them go and get their premier subscriptions, because you get the 44 credits as well, as long as you are ECB qualified. And then you can, for example, help that new customer go and get their products for free. There's something that you can offer them to drive volume. Now, the great thing about when you work on that scenario is that that new partner underneath you, these customer subscriptions of customers, they can't earn money. So that new partner will earn all the retail commission of all those customer subscriptions. So by helping their first customer get more customers, they lock the customer in on a free product, but they get a retail commission. And you can see how quickly all that volume flows back up to the new partner and then back up to you. And then underneath that new partner, you're helping them do what? Get their 1 left, their 1 right, and they go and sign up a new partner on an ultimate. That 300 credits, yes, comes up to that new partner because it's step 2, 1 left, 1 right, but you're helping them do that, and you get all the 300 credits at the same time. So you can personally enroll 1 partner that you'll get the 300 credits, or you can go and help your new partner get a new partner and you still get 300 credits. Now, remember, I did say at the beginning, continue to be reaching out and filling your own pipeline, but don't just go and fill your pipeline at the consequence of neglecting the people you bring in, because you're going to create more energy and duplication by helping your newest partner than if you just went and sponsored 50 personals. Because you can't manage 50 personals. Over time, you will. You'll hear people from stage telling you how many hundreds they've enrolled, which is kudos to them. But many will come and go because they haven't got them started right. So yes, go wide, but 2, don't go wide at the neglect of helping your newest partner. Always be looking for the ace, but you can also find an ace, but you can also develop an ace. So don't be just, looking for the pearl every time, because if you had given up on me 5 years ago, then I wouldn't be an ambassador today. But Marco didn't. He found me, he nurtured me, he caressed me, he plugged me into a system, gave me time to grow, let me find my feet, led me by example. But he didn't wait for me, but he was there for me and showing me. So make sure that you do both together, because there is no breakage. And there is great benefit of driving new people, helping them get the success they need in their first 120 days. But if we compress that into 60 days, you're going to compound the momentum and the energy in your group. Then the third number I want to help you to understand is go get your 4, and then go get your 10, and then don't stop until you get 25 products connected to your shop. Why? Because it unlocks your monthly doubling of your residual subscriptions. So we're just going to go through these numbers very quickly, because I want to bring a guest speaker on in a moment for an example that I want to run through with you. So this is a hypothetical scenario. You've got 2 teams building, and on the left team, you've got 1,200 subscriptions. And if we're talking they're on the bottle, they're on oil as a subscription, we know that this is 4 credits. So you're not A team. And for those who don't know, A team is that you have 25 personal customer subscriptions going through your customer account. And so if you're not 18, 19 subscriptions, 20 subscriptions, 21, 22, 23, 24, you never want to sit around those numbers. You want to get to 25 quickly as possible. But if you're under 25, you're not A team, and you're going to be paid 4 credits for this oil. So in your left team, you've got 1,200. In your right team, you've got, let me do that one. There we go. So I'm ahead of myself. So 4 times 1,200 is 4,800 credits. So by not being A team, this generates that. Now, let's say you are A team. Now, some products are worth 4 credits. Some products are worth 3 or 4, 3 credits. So let's use an average of 6 credits. If every customer subscription you had in your business was oil, it would be 4 credits. But because you're A team, they double it. But let's use 6 as an average, because maybe they've got Xenoshine, or which is 1.5 credits. You've got Viva, which is 3 credits, and you've got oil, which is, so let's use 6 as an average. But if all were oil, let's use 8, because that will be doubled. So A team doubles the credits you're given. Same business, same amount of work, but you're being paid double. That's why the 3 numbers you have to get branded in our thinking is get my 4, get my 10, and get the 25 as quickly as possible. Get my 4, get my 10, and get to 25 as fast as possible. So you can see same numbers, 1,200 customer subscriptions in your left team. But if you were A team and they were all on oil, that's 9,600 credits. You're being paid double for the same volume. So let's run that exercise. You got partners in your left side, and you've got 150 partners that have gathered over 1,200 customers. Now, the partners auto order is your volume as well. And you're not A team, so that's 1,500 credits. But you are A team, that's 3,000 credits. So you can see the analogy that I'm going to run with you here is that by not being A team, you are leaving 50% of your income on the table that you don't have to do anything for. Just get the 25 and make sure you maintain 25. So this is a grid that really highlights what you are achieving. So there's you, your left team, you're not A team. You're generating 6,300 credits. On your right team, 4,200 credits. So you're still very healthy. You've got a good business and you're almost diamond. You can smell it, you can taste it, and you're excited about it. And you're a very strong platinum and making a good 1,500 pounds a month thereabouts. But for the same volume, the same numbers, and you are 18, meaning you have 25 customer subscriptions, you can see based on the 6 as an average or 8 as the oil, you can see on 6, you got 10,200 on your left, 6,800 on your right. Congratulations, same numbers, but you're a diamond because you're 18. But if we use A as the number, because everybody's on the oil, hypothetically, then you're getting 12,600 on your left and 8,400 on your right. You're almost director. Same numbers, but because you've gone and got 25 customer subscriptions, you've doubled your business. Which one would you prefer? This is why working smart, knowing numbers, will intentionally give you where you need to work and who you're working with. So now I want to wrap up. I know I told you it was going to be a numbers session tonight, and we're going to run over a little because I want you to hear from Black Ambassador Marco Passanante. But let's go back to the first sheet, because if you understood the first sheet, and we all become focused on the fundamentals, the basics, the cookie cutter, the go get my 4, get my 2, go get my 4, get my 2. And we teach that. Now, in the beginning, it never looks like it really will amount to much. But if you teach it, and that compound, that leverage, that exponential crossing over of your own effort to the leverage sales scenario, you're going to be glad you learned the basics and you stayed disciplined to the basics and you taught the basics and you replicated and worked with those who were teaching the basics. I've learned very quickly that a lot of times I see people that are talented. I see people who come with great gusto. I see people that want to tweak the model. I see people that say they go just want to be heard because they want to implement something new, and that's great energy. But if we don't harness that energy, if we don't guide that energy and share with them and educate them and teach them the power of, it's not your idea of the week club. This is something that is generationally going to be implemented and replicated. Because I've seen so many attentions being given, and I've been guilty of it, to other people that came in so impressively that I thought, oh, this is a superstar. But you know what? They wanted to start to undo the screws of the tires and only put maybe 1 or 2 screws in because they think they could save a cost element. That's just a poor example, actually. But the reality is they wanted to start unscrewing things and use less screws, trying to make it go faster and make the vehicle more vulnerable. Actually, that wasn't, I recovered that analogy. I recovered that one. I'm proud of that one. So month 1, superstar, go get your 2, 1 left, 1 right. And your subscriptions, and help that person do the same. Month 2, go help them get their 2. Now, still focusing on your pipeline, reaching out, connecting, warming people up, but focus as well. This is where you start to look at your timetable. Well, if I've got my number is 6 exposures a week, then maybe 4 of them will be into the people that I'm working with, and 2 will be personals. So you never want to stop enrolling, but you never want to stop. You don't want to focus all your enrollment personally without helping new people. Because yes, you're going to place these people that you're bringing in underneath them. But if you're not training, if you're not guiding and raising others, you can create a leg, but you won't have people building. And that's what you don't want to do. I've been there many times before, because we think we're helping people and yet we're not. We're actually hindering them. So month 3, let's teach. Let's all be talking about enroll your 2 partners and get your 4. Enroll your 2 and get your 4. You see, month 3 now starts to look a little bit interesting. You've got 8 partners. You've got 32 new customer subscriptions. No one's doing, remember at the beginning, it's network marketing. There's a lot of people doing a little bit. No one's doing more than you. We're all focused. We're all singing off the same hymn sheet. And now you've got 56 total group customers. Congratulations, you've gone bronze. Now, that's £50. That's 1,100 Rand. It's $62. It's 85 Canadian dollars. And why have I got so many in there? Because these are the 4 markets I've been working in the last 2 months where we got growth happening. So month 4, each go get 2. Teach these newest people. Now you may be 4 levels deep, 5 levels deep. You're driving through the group you're building and creating. Now you're creating a tap route, but you're creating a tap route with their names. Why? When you create a tap route with their names, you've got people taking ownership of their businesses. Why? They're involved. They're in the meetings with you. They're watching you do it. Now you're helping them, but they're learning. They're growing. They're earning while they're learning. Month 5, 32 people now, each going getting 16, going getting 2. There's 32. You can see the numbers. Now, congratulations, you've gone gold. And for exercise of time, you can see where we're going with this. But all we're doing is teaching the concept. Enroll 2, get 4. That is step 1 and 2 of the fast starts that the company has put together. That was written by Kirsten Pierce and Orion Salah. We're not. This is not. So when people say, "Well, this is not true," this is a good numbers exercise. No, it isn't. This is exactly what the fast starts are. If we all buy into the fast starts and teach fast starts, not just do it once and sit back and shout about it and get people to do it on their own. No, be an example. Drive the leg, teach people, take them on a journey down with you so you can show them how to do that. Month 7, you're platinum, making £1,200 a month, making 28,000 Rand a month, making $1,500 a month, making over 2,000 Canadian dollars a month. Month 7. Now remember, this is just team volume commission. At this stage, in fact, at stage month 4, you've already made your investment back of an Ultima. You've already made £2,100 in your fast start bonuses. What I'm showing you on the screen is your team volume commissions. This is not even CAB. Month 8, month 9, month 10. Go get your 2, get your 4 customers. Month 12, you are a black crown. Well, Dave, it doesn't work that way. But what if it did? What if we created a community that locks arms, teaches the basics, does the basics, and then replicates the basics? Because that's what the fast starts are. Don't tell me you want to go diamond if you haven't gone and got your 4 and 2. Don't tell me that you want to change the world when you haven't even got 4 and 2. You can change the world if you go get your 4 and 2 and teach 4 and 2 and keep prospecting yourself. So look what's possible. But let's now talk about, what did we say before? What's the 3 magic numbers? Go get your 4. There's your 4 customers. That's that analogy. Now, what's the second number? I can't see the chat, but what's the second number of the 3 important numbers? 4's the first one. Put in the chat and I'll read it back. What's the second important number? By the month 4 that we must be to make sure we maintain our auto order for free. Now you've put that number in it. I'm hoping there's a lot of numbers going in the chat. So let's use that analogy. You still got your 2 business centers, but now we're teaching those that are in the business to go X team. So the same numbers in your team, but now going gathering more customer subscriptions. You've gone from, if you look at the previous page on row 12, 32,000 group customers. You've now gone to 81,000 group customers. Are you doing anything different? Are you doing anything more than the compensation plan has asked us to do to make sure that once we hit executive, we must be at least X team to be recognized for rank advancements? It's in the compensation. That's why 10 custom subscriptions, X team is vital, because beyond executive, we must be X team to get our rank advancement. So this is nothing, this is no magic wand. This is no numbers plucked out of the sky. These are the numbers that are in the comp plan. But when we know the numbers, we can get excited about them because when we can teach them. So that's the power of 2 and 10 customers. Let's go to the power of 2 and everyone going 18. Why do we want to go 18? Because we know at 18, 25 customer subscriptions connected to our own e-commerce shop, we're going to unlock our monthly residual of doubling the monthly subscriptions. 4 makes us active. 10 gets us ECB. 25 gets us RCB. This is all in the comp plan. But what if we taught this? What if we showed this? What if we duplicate this? You can see then in 12 months, you would have over 204,000 group customers. And how would that look? If you just built 2 teams, between May 2024 to May 2025, and you stay focused, you found your number, we stayed consistent, we pulled together, we lock arms, we're one team, we're a community, we're heading in the same direction. We not only want to break ranks or volume, we want to raise ranks and leaders. But if you build two teams in the next 24 months, and as an average Black Crown, you're going to be making £17,000 a month. Just see yourself now, 12 months from now. Now, you may not be able to see £17,300 a month as a Black Crown, but can you see 4 and 2 and teach 4 and 2 until you got momentum? And while you're teaching 4 and 2, now go get 6 more so you got your 10, and then start teaching people to get their 6 more and get their 10. That's the fast stuff. Guess what? You're already now into that second channel of the power of 2 and 10. And then if you want to stay there and put your feet up, do that. But many of you have greater aspirations. You want to now open a third team and help them do the same. Now, to go ambassador, you don't have to do anything grand as beyond to become a rocket scientist or develop a second head and speak a bilingual language. No, you just open another team. But what do you teach that team? 4 and 2, 4 and 2. We don't need to move away from 4 and 2. And you're going to be a Black ambassador making an average of £27,000 a month. And then if you really want to max out the comp plan, simply go president by opening a 4th line and tell me in the comments right now, do you have to grow a 3rd and 4th head to go president? Or have you mastered the ability to contact, to show the plan, to follow up, to onboard, teach them 4 and 2, replicate that first sheet and help them go silver, replicate and show them by helping them get 6 personal silvers, they're halfway to diamond, and replicate helping their 6 people go and get their silvers, that they'll be a director. Everything that we want to build, attain, and go to and break through and become, all is built on the fast start bonuses. So let's close that out. And I hope that was of value. I know we've gone a little bit over, but I hope Marco Passanante is not at the Chelsea Football Club watching football tonight, because he's promised me he would be on the call and not just putting his picture on there and plugging in.
Marco, here, of course. I'm here, Mr. Ives.
I know you are. I know you are. So, Marco, and Marco was interesting to hear Marco speak with me earlier on. He was away with his fiance and little Isabel in Italy for a wedding, and he made a connection. And funny enough, he rang me earlier today, and we were speaking, and he was sharing his story of a connection that he made, or some, I'm not too sure, he'll elaborate, but a conversation he had with an individual in Italy at this wedding reception. And I said, well, that's my message tonight. But if you think the numbers I just shared with you are too far-fetched, you're going to see that these numbers are very low compared to a reality that Marco's going to share with you. So, Marco, as always, we appreciate you. Obviously, without you, giving me the opportunity, May of 2019, sending me products before I even said I was ready to get going, getting me to Orion's house and breaking bread with you and Nikolai Rude, and sitting around that table and helping pricking. Actually, I think I was one of the first people, even though he was a Royal Crown. By the way, this is impressive, people. When I joined in May of 2019, Marco had 7,500 group customers. 7,500 group customers, and he had been in 3 years. Now that's impressive. I know many of you may have that aspiration. That's impressive. 3 years, 7,500. I think it was Crown or Royal Crown. He'll correct me. Fast forward 5 years, he now has over 50,000 monthly customers. But what he's got is leaders. He's now not building a team. He's now given leaders the room to grow, to build leaders. And that's part of the John Maxwell analogy of the 5 levels of leadership. And so I've seen Marco grow in the last 5 years. I've seen Marco develop himself. But what I do see, that beyond a shadow of a doubt is someone that his work ethic is never in question. His heart is never in question. And we are never the final product. But what I do see is a man that is always growing, evolving like we all should be, and giving each other grace to grow and become the best version of ourselves. And when I heard this story this afternoon of the individual that he met, I said, well, you need to finish up the talk, because they're not going to believe the numbers I'm going to put on the screen, but they may just get bigger vision when they hear the evidence of what you're about to share with them. So Marco, appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. And I'll let you wrap up and close out with what you want to share.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the kind words, Dave. And thank you for everything you do for the One Mondo family. And I'm sure as a team, as a community, we'll create the biggest team this profession has ever seen. And the problem is, so far, we've been playing small. We've been playing small, thinking small. And I think most of you on this call, you're playing too small based on your potential. And so I've heard about this guy the last 2 years in the industry. He started... So when I heard his story 1 year ago, he had 1.5 million customers after 3 years in the industry, 3.5 years in the industry. He had no experience. And I met this guy now in Rome this weekend, and we had a long chat. And I'm like, Sandro, every time you hear these kind of stories, there's something strange behind the scenes. And what did you do? And he had a business, in IT. And I think he was 37, he's 41 now. 42, 41, 42. So he was 37, had a successful business, a lot of employees, and he was so tired of that life. He's like, I need to do something else. I need some kind of purpose and do something that gives meaning. And he saw his hairdresser, was a hairdresser, a friend, presented network marketing. And I have to say that company doesn't even have good products. They have a catalog with 4,000 products. And the compensation plan is not that good as ours. And he, even when he looked at the company, he's like, started. So he just took an Excel sheet, because I'd never seen network marketing. He took an Excel sheet. Okay, if I get 5 people, like if you have a traditional business, you're gonna employ a couple of people to run different operations of your company. And he just wrote down, okay, if I get 5 good people and I help them build something huge. So he wrote down 5 who gets 5, and he just did an Excel sheet. And then his Excel sheet was, I took notes, his Excel sheet. So what Dave talked about today, if you're sitting on this call and thinking, yeah, but that's theory, Dave. Yeah, you know what? That's actually a very small theory. Because this guy, you know what he did? He just focused on 5 by 5. That was his theory. He got started. He heard about Eric Worre. He bought the GoPro book. And there's another book, Don Failla, 45-second presentation. He ordered those 2 books. That's the only books he read. And then he focused on 5 by 5, had a big vision, and told people, I'm going to build a $2.5 billion team over the next 5 years. I'm going to help 5 people be very wealthy. You want to be one of those 5. So he had a big vision. He talked big because he wanted people that was entrepreneurial, that was hungry, that had a big vision. You know what he did? This is his numbers. Because 5 who gets 5, who gets 5, who gets 5, who gets 5, in 7 levels, that's 95,000 people. And he had 1.5 customer, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. Now he had 1.9 after 4 years. No experience. So Dave's theory is actually a small theory based on his reality. Eric Worre even told him, you have to tell your people this is not normal. And I said, what do you tell Eric then? He said, I don't like that he says that, because this is the normal. People thinking too small. He said, I have no experience. I don't know anything else than this. He's going to make 10 million this year, his 5th year in business. That shows focus on the basics, read 2 books, keep it simple. He said, recruit the people and just focus on the basic 7 skills in the GoPro book. And then after that, when they get results, you focus on leadership development. And then just work on the skills. And the skills is the 7 basic skills in the GoPro book. So he did this, and now he's going to pass 2 million customers, and he's not even 5 years in, and he's doing. His team is as big as Enzino is, and he has no experience, just coming in 4.5 years in. You know what he did? He just focuses on numbers. And he's not very charismatic. When you meet him, he just Excel sheet, 5 by 5 by 5, find a 5. So his first month, he recruited 26 people. Out of the 26, 4 out of those is out of his 5. So 4 out of his 5 he found the first month by focusing what? The 7 basic skills from GoPro. So he said, you always have to be humble and grow and become better. He said, I understood nothing. I have no experience. I just focus on the basic skills and present it very simple, lead with opportunity. This is what he said. So he crushed the numbers Dave just gave you. So what Dave just shared with you is no exaggeration. But if you think it is, it will be for you. The problem is we've been playing too small because we have a better company, better products. And when you listen, I listen to a lot of billionaire podcasts, and I have my best friend has a business with a Spotify founder, and I ask him, what is he saying? How's he thinking? Picking the brain. And this guy, biggest shareholder in Spotify. There were 2 founders, right? Martin Lorentzon and Daniel Ek. Martin is the biggest shareholder. So that's the guy he has business with and sits with all the time. I just pick his brain, often. What is he saying? How is he thinking? And I listen to the podcast, and I listened to a podcast the other day from a billionaire who said, I didn't have a good idea. And he said, people overestimate the product and service. It's not about that. Because you can create a need with whatever you're selling. Maybe this is the problem with Zinzino. We're changing people's life for real with health products, right? Because we have something unique. Maybe we have 2 good products, so you're just there caressing the product, talking about the product. This Sandro guy, he said, Marco, I'm really bad at selling products, but I'm really good at selling a vision. So he says, every day I'm selling the vision. Every day I'm selling the vision. He said about them, yeah, we have good products as well. But this opportunity, we have a life-changing experience. And what we can do for people's life here, if people understand that, they will go all in here. And people spend 8 hours a day at the job, then you can at least spend 8 hours a day, at least a couple hours after, and replace that income over the next 6 to 12 months. And then you can have freedom, and then you can go big if you want to go big. Of course, most people don't want to make 10 million a year, but why not just try? Go 5 by 5 by 5. He did it according to Excel sheet, and he's crushed everybody. I've never seen somebody with no experience coming in and making 10 million is, $800K a month. Already took him less than 4 years. So I was curious, and I got the answers, and he just shared. So this is for you. Get the GoPro, just focus on those 6 skills, keep it simple, sell the vision. But to sell the vision, what is your vision? The One Mondo family, we're going to create a 10 billion a year team by 2050, and we're going to create the biggest team this profession has ever seen. I don't care to be the biggest, but we're going to be so good. So we're going to create the biggest just by doing what we're doing, which is helping people live longer. We have one of the biggest secrets to biohacking. Some of you sitting there watching Instagram of biohacking. Our health protocol is one of the biggest biohacks you can do in the world today to slow down aging. So I hope you're really hyping up the health protocol. And if this guy, if you meet him, you will see he's not we were a little group, and it was fun because I was at a wedding at a guy who doing very well in another company, and there was 7, 8 leaders in the industry there who's making multiple 7 figures a year. So I'm just looking at these guys and talking to them, picking their brains and realizing that, wow, we are so good. We are so good at what we do. We just need to do more of it. They are out there. They're more aggressive in how many they talk to every day. That's why they're killing us numbers-wise. But it's time to step up. I've been playing too small, for sure, the last few years. So twice in my past, I launched companies and I created around 5,000 partners in the team in less than 6 months, twice. Imagine if I stayed in those companies, or if that was in Zinzino, that could easily be 100, 200,000 in 3-4 years. So we've been playing too small. There's too many people out there winning big, and I can promise you they're not better than you. This guy, this Sandro guy, was even shy. He didn't talk to anybody at first. We started in a group. He was the most silent guy. He's like introvert, very introvert guy. And, he was an IT guy, But he ran the numbers and he said, this is what he said. He's like, when I ran the numbers, I realized this industry is a hidden gem. Wow. He said, compared to traditional business, what I built, this is too easy. It's too easy. Just run the numbers, go 5 by 5, focus on the basics. And now all the 5 of his first, they're all making huge money because he said they stayed close to the fire, took action. And so what Dave shared tonight is not even close to what's possible. But 12 months to get the 4,000 something, just think about this. 12 months, you go do 2 by 2 by 2, and you'll have the 4,096. You never have to recruit anybody else there. Just help the 4,000 go 20 customers each, and you do 820,000 credits. You're making probably 150 to 200,000 a month. That's what's possible. So if you're playing small, stop playing small. Go out and win, and go out and be loud, because we have something that people need. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for having me share a couple of thoughts, and thank you for great training, Dave. And your numbers is more than doable. You're on mute, Dave. Yeah.
Thank you, Marco. Good night, everyone. I know we went a little bit longer, but I hope that was of value.
See you tomorrow. Business presentation, 8 o'clock. Invite all the prospects. I'm going to smack them up. So you want to grow your business, start inviting right now. Pack it out. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock European time, 7 p.m. UK time. I'm going to smack up your prospects big time. Just fill that house. I'll smack them up. And then 1 hour later, we have the elite, 1 Monday Elite, where I'm going to talk about how you sell the vision. See you tomorrow, my friends.
Good night, everyone.